Hi, my name is Sheila Corona. Welcome back to Handbook for the New Paradigm, Volumes 1, 2, and 3. We are in Volume 3, entitled Becoming, on page 290, if you're following along with me in the book, session number 16. And it begins, it has been ingrained deeply within the consciousness of mankind that they are servants of their quote, God of the moment. Over the long space of time since mankind has been elevated into self awareness, those on this planet have been held in servitude and have been subject to the whims of the controller's interactions between themselves. Further, as the manipulated progeny of these same beings, these attributes of contention and competition are a part of this heritage. In truth and reality, these deep seated tendencies of competition and the use of violence to resolve the inevitable friction that results from this focus has served neither the controllers nor the enslaved. Both have remained over eons of sequential time stuck within the victim abuser mode that has blocked both from evolving. Failing to live in harmony within the universal laws, which includes living in harmony with the natural environment of each home planet, leads to the waste of its resources and eventual exhaustion of the ability to maintain life upon it. The natural conclusion of that focus of experience is to look outside for another source to plunder. Earth is the source for those who have set their parameter at the basis of their pattern of experience. It is natural then for this same parameter to be the attitude promoted on its perceived colony. As these messages continue to contribute to greater understanding of the foundation upon which mankind developed within a controlled and manipulated situation, it is hoped that those reading the information will come to understand their situation and their learned attitudes and understandings. Oh my gosh. In light of what I just recorded right before I started reading this, this is just too rich for me. This is the first time I'm reading this one. In order to change deeply entrenched beliefs and experience, it is necessary to see a clear picture of the present situation. Only then can a true decision be made as to whether this is the path that is desired to be continued, or if it is the time to stand forth within personal decision and change the course of human history by writing each one's own history, and so the history of humanity. For eons of time, each generation has accepted the parameters of experience that has been thrust upon them and waited to be led out of bondage. It has been said, quote, when the people lead, the leaders will follow, end quote. This has not proved to be true, as each time it has been an isolated group that has attempted rebellion only to be devastated by weaponry that instilled even greater fear within them. This resulted because they attempted to stand forth using the same competitive war techniques that had been taught them by example. Their purpose was to create an improved version of the life they were leading, with again another, quote, leader to guide them to a utopian societal experience. This, in truth, would have been simply a better version of the usual victim abuser experience temporarily. Even if a benevolent leader were chosen, the history of the influence of power in the following familial generations through the competition of the offspring has inevitably led to despotism. Thus, there has been the hopeful expectation that better leadership would be provided by short-term election of leaders from among the people. In this way, it was thought that the inheritance of power and the competition between heirs would be eliminated. It should be obvious that this method of choosing leaders has not provided a better solution. Nope, not in any sort of way. Always the people have abdicated their individual power through desiring leadership / government to act as their shepherd or parent. What was desired was a larger experience of the family, a benevolent super being, a benevolent leader, and a benevolent parent with the power vested in the masculine gender. What has been lost is self-reliance within the balance of both masculine and feminine unique characteristics. Mankind has little, if any, faith in the unique distribution of characteristics and talents that, if allowed to exhibit individually, would bring forth a composite that would birth the desired utopian experience. And I want to pause right there because I swear to God, what I heard right then was mankind has little, if any, faith in the unique distribution of characteristics and talents. And if we, each of us, were allowed to only move towards that which brought us joy, those unique talents and gifts would show themselves in no uncertain terms. And because it is that highest joy, it is something to do that would be done whether a being was paid or not. We've never allowed anything like that to flourish. But I can tell you that is the experience that I'm after, because it's at least the experiment to try. I'm going to read that again. Mankind has little, if any, faith in the unique distribution of characteristics and talents that, if allowed to exhibit individually, would bring forth a composite that would birth the desired utopian experience. Think of nature and how beautifully it all serves. One part of nature serves another part of nature. And if for some reason man has interrupted that flow, nature finds a way around that and continues on. And that is exactly nothing. We tend to hold ourselves separate from nature, but we're not. It's just when we allow ourselves to be viewed in that sort of way, if left alone and unprogrammed, right? What in the world could be accomplished? Back to the book here. At the basis of this experience would lie the spirit of cooperation, absolutely. The question that arises immediately is how this could possibly even begin within the present situation of separation, hate, distrust, etc., etc. Herein lies the wisdom of the breakdown and chaos that is inevitable when circumstances reach a level at which the current situation can no longer maintain itself. Okay, wow. I feel like we're kind of right there, don't y'all? An apple rotten at the core must disintegrate. Thus, the comparison is obvious. In the midst of Oh, wait a minute. That's 2 pages. I know it is. In the midst of chaos, groups will come together in cooperation for the purpose of survival. If there are enlightened ones among these groups with understanding and foresight, these can begin a new experiment that suits the members of the group and the group focus. I'm telling you, that is a very real thing. That is what we're doing in this household, is the experimentation of living in unconditional love and allowing talents and gifts to show themselves, and then picking it up where we wish to. It's just, I don't know, there's something here that's very important about this. Okay, so it says, if there are enlightened ones among these groups with understanding and foresight, these can begin a new experiment that suits the members and the group focus. They must not lead, but only advise and promote the new experiment. If there are enough of these groups, all focused upon this new concept of human existence, all understanding the history and the need to leave the past in the past. Wow, I love that. There is hope for a new paradigm of existence for this planet. Difficult as it is to accept, not all of humanity will be able to participate in the bringing forth of this concept. I'm telling y'all, I'm sad to report that that seems to be true, but that's only sad from my perspective, because that's the only perspective I can see really from. But if I do remove myself and view it from someone else's perspective, that's a choice that they have the right to make as well. Who am I to judge them based on my experience? So, all that incarnate participate in the bringing forth of this concept, all that incarnate on this planet understand this before doing so. To all, the opportunity to experience manifested reality is worth the experience of it. Much wisdom is gained, and despite the limited understanding now held by the mass consciousness, is worth the experience. Though humanity dreams of attaining immortality within the body, that too carries with it responsibilities that counterbalance perceived advantages. That known as self-awareness is immortal. To add to it a body that is immortal includes dimensions beyond the ability to understand by mind/brains that are not fully active. It is a situation of first things first. Well, gosh, I could see that actually, because I personally see where this vessel can live much longer than it already does, right? It depends on the responsibility, the self-responsibility and self-awareness of what this vessel actually is and what it can and cannot do, right? Wow, that's the end of number 16. So up next will be number 17. It's so interesting that as I turned this on to record, I was struck immediately that there was something else that wanted to come through. And I recorded, I don't know, maybe it's like 8-9 minutes short. And then I read this. I'm sorry. It's just, I'm going to go back and watch these two together and see what this is like, because that's very highly interesting to me. I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy in each moment that reveals itself to you. What if that is what we're supposed to be doing? Feel into that for a moment, because if every being on this planet was doing that, how different would it feel? Okay, till next time. Be well, my friends.